Hello, my name is Logan Williams, and I will be presenting on Pierre Bourdieu's Three Types of Capital. Pierre Bourdieu was a French sociologist who is claimed to be one of the most influential theorists since Durkheim. Bourdieu was a staunch critic of theoretics or theoretical works, which seemed more concerned with conceptualizing abstract ideas of systems of categories instead of implementing them to better understand the nature of human action and the social systems that organize it. Bourdieu began working in Algeria, where he ethnographically analyzed a society undergoing major urbanization and social change. Pierre Bourdieu's overall focus, however, always remained fixed on applying his vast empirical research into better understanding French social and economic class systems, as well as cultural hierarchies. Pierre Bourdieu is most known for his concept of habitus, the correspondence between social space and position, and symbolic space and position taking. However, this presentation will focus on another one of his famous concepts, his theory of capital. Capital is most commonly known as money or basic types of currency. Bourdieu refers to capital as the thing that provides basic structure for the organization of fields, or in basic terms, who plays where or on what field. Bourdieu distinguishes between three different forms of capital on page 330 of the textbook. Material property, which can be known as economic capital, social capital, like networks or connections of social groups, and prestige, also known as cultural capital. By conceptualizing capital as taking many different forms, Bourdieu stresses that A, there are many different kinds of goods that people pursue and resources that they accumulate. B, that these are inextricably social because they derive their meaning from the social relationships that constitute different fields. And C, that the struggle to accumulate capital is hardly the whole story. Cultural capital has three types of its own subsets of capital. First, embodied cultural capital. Second, objectified cultural capital. And third, institutionalized cultural capital. Embodied cultural capital includes one's individual qualities such as skills, intellectual properties, accents, or even mannerisms. This also includes one's taste in music, art, and literature, and is often most used by social classes to differentiate themselves between other social classes, such as a higher class compared to a lower class. Objectified cultural capital mainly refers to material possessions which have cultural significance, or as you might have guessed, objects that gives us some sort of status or position within our social field. This could include cars, homes, or other owned ventures, such as successful businesses or organizations. This sort of capital is most used to symbolize one's membership into a specific social class. And a good example of objectified cultural capital could be fancy sports cars such as Ferraris, Lamborghinis, Rolls Royces, or large homes, mansions. Finally, there is institutionalized cultural capital. Now, institutionalized cultural capital refers to one's academic credentials, qualifications, professional credentials, qualifications, what have you. So earlier I mentioned prestige. Prestige plays in a lot with institutionalized cultural capital because depending on what school you graduated from or attended or what alumni group you're a part of, that could really determine how much institutionalized cultural capital you receive from obtaining such degrees or doctors or qualifications. And this is most often represents one's power and influence both inside and outside their respective social fields. So, for example, the title of doctor will afford you much greater influence within your professional field as well as your social field, both inside and outside of work. Finally, I think it is important to know that cultural capital is what you have and what you know, while social capital is who you know and who you share your cultural capital with. So, for example, social capital is spent by converting cultural capital, whether it be material goods or embodied, cultural capital, institutionalized cultural capital, or objectified cultural capital. It is converted to be spent through social capital or turned into social capital to be spent in within one's respective social field, or even to gain position in another social field. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you learned something.